having a YouTube channel?
Well, biggest challenge could be that you are like, sometimes you feel a little bit like you're on a treadmill, that you have to keep producing content because you have to be consistent. I would say some of the biggest rewards are like when maybe a client gets you to do a video and they give you a nice budget, and then you can spend some of that budget on amazing stuff, you know?
And when you say a client, you mean like, say an advertiser comes to you or a marketing company?
Yeah, because you don't just make money through YouTube ads, right? You also, like I make probably 75% of the money I'm making, or even more, maybe 80% from companies that want to advertise on the channel. You know, so for example, a company, they wanted us to do a video about their car like a year ago, and we rented a Slingshot, which is this like convertible three-wheeler. It's kind of like a poor man's Lamborghini or something, but it's a lot of fun, you know.
I've drove
like,
that before.
you've driven one, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
if you
yeah.
go to Las Vegas, you'll see them all over the place because they rent them out there. But yeah, we rented one of those and we drove around the mountains near where I live. And then we rented like a riverside cabin and stuff. And like, it's all paid for by the client because we were using it as a backdrop for the shooting, you know, but it's a lot of fun. Same with when someone invites me to like speak at a conference or something. Last time I said to this conference in Scotland, I was like, hey, I don't really need much of a fee. Just get me a good flight.
So nice.
So he got me a flight out there on a JetBlue. I had a chance to review the new JetBlue Mint Studio, which is this really big. There's only 2 of them on the plane. And it's this business class seat that's right at the front because there's no seat in front of you. You get extra space and they give you this extra little sofa beside you and stuff. Really cool. So
how nice was that?
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, that was great. And I got a video of that on my channel if people want to see it. But yeah, those are really good. I would say that's the best times where you get to sort of meet people and go and do random things like at that event as well. Actually, I was so I got there and then we went to the hotel and I met the guy who ran that through just Instagram. He's this entrepreneur from the UK. He's in his like mid-20s. But he knows a lot of like the biggest property people in the UK, right? So so I flew there from New York, got to Scotland. I've only been to Scotland like once before. And then just in like a whirlwind, I'm suddenly at this dinner with this other YouTuber, or a load of other YouTubers, including Andrew Tate's cameraman. He like the guy who shoots all of Andrew Tate's videos. He was there. He was a super nice guy, and his girlfriend was there as well. And then there was this other YouTuber who was like this guy who reviews watches. You might know this guy actually, called Nico Leonard. You know him?
I don't. There's a couple watch YouTubers out there. There's Eric, the watch guy. There's Roman Sharf. There's one that I just did a video on called the Timepiece Gentleman. Apparently, he took a lot of people's watches and disappeared. And what happened with that guy? Did he sell you a watch?
No. So you should definitely check him out, Nico Leonard. You've probably come across his stuff before. You just might not know the name, but he's like the crazy watch guy from Ireland, and he was wearing like a 300,000 pound what was it, Richard Mille, and then we end up going to this casino at like midnight, and playing until like 1 or something because the hotel had a fire alarm, so it's there's a casino just down the road. So like I love those sort of random encounters with people. Like I'll probably never see that guy again, but it's just,
it was fun.
You go to some of these events where you meet people and they're like YouTubers or like celebrities or big business people or whatever. And just like the experiences you can have through being a YouTuber and the people you meet, like that's really valuable,
I completely agree. I've met quite a few cool people including you off YouTube, just by doing it. It's almost like a networking kind of group that understands the amount of effort this all takes, the long-term thinking. And I do find that a lot of people that I met from YouTube are generally very nice, humble people that are very excited to also meet other individuals that are like-minded. A YouTube group is kind of, to me, and being in business that I am for so many years, it's kind of like a YPO group or one of these like business CEO groups where you're just collaborating or even just understanding what each of you brings to the table. And I think YPO, there's an EPO, there's a couple others that are out there that are very similar. But I've had some fun memories with some people from YouTube. I haven't met as many as you have, of course, probably because my channel's smaller, but it's been great. Let me ask you another question. When do you start seeing, and let's say you're just starting out on YouTube, or maybe you're someone like myself, I don't have the biggest following, but when do you start seeing advertisers come in or start considering you as a potential to advertise? At what subscription level, or how
I
many
would say you'd
subscribers?
need probably to be around at least 50,000.
50,000.
And you also, but it's not just about the level of subscribers, it's also about how many views that you can get. Because there are some channels that have like maybe 200,000 subscribers, but it all came from one video that's kind of a little bit different to their main content, and thus they're not very engaged, you know? So maybe they get like 2,000 views a video, even though it got 100,000 subscribers. So
I see.
advertisers will look, yeah, they'll look both at your advertising, at your subscriber count, and at the average views per video. So we get, you know, around maybe 15,000 views per video on average. So they'll give us a price, you know, they'll offer us a price based on that. That level of views actually in a non-finance niche wouldn't get you very good, you know, income. But
I
because
see.
we're financial, you know, products, we can charge about 3 times as much as other niches, you know.
Yeah, because they have the money. They know how much they're going to get on the residual end of it. Um, what when you do a video or when you do content, and you and I briefly talked about this last time, you tend to stick to credit cards mainly. And you mentioned that it's hard to kind of branch out. That could be with concern for maybe your advertisers. It could also mean that the target audience is not correct. So how do you manage that? How do you not only provide, say, credit card content, but also understand that maybe you want to talk about something else? Or have you done that, or have you mastered that?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about something else that's kind of related, but not really, it's best to do it on a second channel. And then you can sort of drive some people over, like the ones that are interested will come over the second channel, and you start building on another channel. Like we cover credit cards, but we've also tried to cover general like finance stuff on the channel, but it's quite hard. And I'm also not really an expert in it. Like if I try to talk about stocks, you know, I'm far from being an expert in stocks. So personal finance stuff has done quite well sometimes on our channel, and certain travel content does well. Although YouTube, it's weird, you know, some things that you thought would do well don't for some
Yeah,
reason, you know, and it's really frustrating.
it is. I will agree to that. I've done some videos where I'm like, this is going to be great. People will enjoy it or whatever. Look at this, like the work I've put into it. It's taken a long course. I've documented it all. And then all of a sudden I release that video, and in my case, it gets, you know, less than 1,000 views. And then I'll release some other video that's kind of not even the trendiest topic. And all of a sudden it'll get more views. And I'm like, why am I spending so much time prepping this, you know, long journey of this one video? And it's kind of amazing that YouTube will put you out there for certain stuff. But I think that what I learned from that experience is you just got to keep going. Maybe there's no right formula. You just keep putting out content.
Yeah, you got to keep putting it out. Like sometimes the videos you put most effort in, they don't do well. Like the ones on shooting credit cards that we did, we went and found this like 80 acres of private land, and we got all these different guns, and we like shot the metal credit cards to see if they're bulletproof. And it did like, you know, 6,000 or 7,000 views. But then we do like something else, like, some boring news about American Express, like,
Yeah.
you know, changing their sign up bonus rules, and it gets like 25,000 views. So it's
That's crazy. You know what, Ben? I want to do a shooting video now. You've kind of inspired me. But if you're telling me it's only going to get 6,000 views and I got to load up the guns and do all this stuff, maybe it's not worth it. And then maybe, yeah, it's double the effort. There's bullets involved. It's dangerous. I don't know if Amex will like me blowing up their credit card. So I
they
don't know.
probably won't like you doing that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Although they haven't.
so okay, so that kind of goes back to like, well, how do you make a viral video to attract a big audience? What do you see that works for you to attract audiences to grow your channel?
Well, a viral video is definitely, you've got to look at topics that are viral. Like I started getting big when it was the Chase Sapphire Reserve had just come out. That was quite viral. Right now, the Venture X, the Capital One Venture X is one that's pretty hot. So I've noticed when I do videos that are about that card, they do pretty well. right? I had a video yesterday that was about this new 90,000 point bonus on that card, and it was like one of the best videos in the past few weeks.
Wow.
Did pretty well. American Express is always a hot topic because it's just such an iconic company. But there's definitely other things that, things in the news. I mean, when we had the whole stimulus thing back during the pandemic, like we were getting massive views on that stuff. And that was just such low effort content. I got like 500,000 views on a video that was just like telling people the regulations about the new stimulus act, right?
Crazy.
And so, but YouTube can be kind of cruel as well, because it can take away your views too. Like during the whole stimulus thing, we were getting hundreds of thousands of views, and then one day it just stopped.
Yeah, they just shut it off as if they didn't want people to talk about the stimuluses anymore.
It was weird, yeah. But there were some channels that kept going for a long time. It was almost like there's a pool of channels and they're all talking about the same thing. And YouTube, first of all, gives all of them impressions. So people click and they get views. And then it starts like picking off one by one, the ones that maybe aren't quite as good on the data, like not quite as long audience viewer retention and stuff. They start getting picked off. And a friend of mine, Pointers, is Rami, he Points Pointers in New York. He did stimulus stuff for ages. He got up to like 200,000 subs. He was at like 20,000. He got all the way up to 200,000 subs doing stimulus videos. And then one day it just turned off like a light, just like.
So what happened? What happened to his?
He doesn't upload anymore because he used to be all about credit cards and points and stuff. And he kind of ruined his audience by adding all these stimulus people. And all those people just switched off when stimulus ended.
That's crazy. And he just dropped YouTube?
See, I don't think he'd quit his job or anything. So he hasn't uploaded for ages. I haven't seen anything new from him for a long time. So
let me ask you, have you seen a lot of people come and go on YouTube? Like they try it